Could be quite controversial. Bukayo Saka, underrated or overrated?
Ooh.
There are two
I
sides of the story. We ask Arsenal fans
Oh,
or
this
we
is a
ask
tough
everybody
one,
else.
man.
I think he's rightly rated from Arsenal fans and underrated by everyone else.
Yeah, I think he's underrated. I don't think the masses have really clocked how good Saka is. Like, it's not just the Arteta system. Like, his game has taken leaps and bounds season after season. Like, before it was, oh, can he create? Oh, he's not a good finisher. Oh, he doesn't use his right foot. Now this is someone who can cut inside, curl it. Man United. He can go on the right hand side, drill it top corner like he did against Leeds. He can create for his teammates. He combines really well. He's got a good football brain on him. Like, he's an excellent
And the
winner.
bottom line is, Roy, he was getting pretty much most of the biggest teams in the whole of Europe in their starting 11.
Yeah,
and that's facts.
and he's proved he can put when the Arsenal were bummy, Saka put them on his back.
This
Like,
guy
he was
can
being a
play
match
left
winner
back,
week in, week
right
out.
back, left wing, right wing, versatile.
Yeah, and he's humble, which is
Quality.
Let me tell you why I think Saka is one of the most underrated players. Every time Saka plays, I think this guy's 26, 27. Every time I have to Google his age to make sure he's 21. He plays like a 27
you've
years
got a
old.
shit memory then, to be fair.
No. The guy plays like a mature player. Yes. He makes me forget his age. He plays like really someone who knows football, who doesn't need to still mature. And he plays like he leads the team sometimes. He wants the ball every single time, never hides, never shy from getting the ball and getting on the ball and try to dribble and take it to the other team. And that's experienced player do this. And he's only 21.
And you
Do
know
you know
what?
what it is?
As well, Mo, he was
just a quick
playing
question
with
now.
that he was playing with that experience
Yeah.
when he came into the team from 17 and 18 as well.
Oh,
And
man.
look, this is not just Saka playing with good players now, shining. He was playing with shit players, and he was still standing out back then as well.
Quick question now. I just because I heard you say he's underrated by rival fans. What is the common consensus then that you believe he's underrated on? Like, what the rival fans say that you go, no, he's
Just have a look in the chat, mate, and you can see
Now,
there.
do you know what it is?
Tom,
What
it's
it is?
ability. It's the weirdest thing because it's a very easy thing. And you get some challenges when you're having football conversations that are so vague, they're almost impossible to answer. They go, but he doesn't have the ability, does he? That doesn't even mean anything anymore. What the hell does ability even mean? Ability is the ability to deliver. Like, eye test is a completely nonsensical argument because it's about preference. And again, if you don't like how Saka looks, but he's scoring goals, your preference is fucking irrelevant.
And you know what? The biggest example of it as well, sorry, Terry, for cutting in. The biggest example of it is when England played in the Euros and the World Cup, a lot of England fans wanted Foden in the team and they didn't want Saka. And it's funny enough, Saka was probably one of the best England players. He won, Player of the Year for England as well. So just to answer your question there, that's
Right,
That's another reason why
this
you know
is
that a lot
why-
of the fans don't rate Saka
And-
too tough.
That was a perfect segue, Premsy. Thank you. This is why people try and downplay Saka. For me, I once got asked about generational, and if Saka's generational, and I said I need to understand what generational means because in my old man head, I don't know. Someone said it's something that no one else can do. I said, what? At 18, he's going from left back to right wing. That sounds pretty generational, right? Now, I rate Saka highly, but what Premsy just did there, when someone brings in someone from another fan base and goes, do you know what? I'm going to make a comparison. Then straight away, my back goes up. And I'm like, sorry, did you just mention Foden? So, and then all of a sudden, I think that Saka is underrated. And I think once they win a league, all of a sudden it gives him more clout for people to start putting him where he should be. But it's the trophies. Terry, you always speak on it. The trophies are so important in how you rate someone. Once Saka starts getting those trophies, all of a sudden he'll be spoken about the way he probably should be.
And
Look at that, Harry Kane at one fuck all, and everyone calls him world class.
But again,
overrated for me, Harry Kane.
Again, but we're talking about, like, obviously with young players, and we're doing a different show tomorrow night. We're going to be ranking players off on who's going to have the biggest legacy. When I think about a player being underrated or overrated, I'm talking about their ability and everything else, but it's about their legacy. It's around where they're seen, where their stature is in the game. And I think Harry Kane's a prime example. World-class ability, world-class outputs, but I don't consider him a football legend. Because
would you consider him overrated? Kane?
I would. No, it depends what you mean. His footballing ability isn't overrated. His status as a footballer is massively overrated because he's achieved zero. goals and assists and winning games and your skill and your ability, if you're not winning the major, so for some reason, football fans protect a handful of players and a handful of teams get protection that no other athlete, that barely any other athlete in any other sport gets. Where if you don't win the major prizes, you're still massively regarded. And someone gave me an example in NFL where they said Dan Marino, he's highly rated. But that only lasts for a certain amount of time. Over the course of time, there's going to be more and more quarterbacks that come along that are as good or better that win Super Bowls. Eventually, he's going to be ranked so low down the pecking order that he'll be remembered, but he won't be remembered like a Tom Brady. Tom Brady will always be remembered because he didn't win those trophies. And for me, it's weird. So, yeah, Saka will be... I think he's underrated. I think he's already been...
Yeah, I do as well.
People
But
play
I think
him
after this season, won't be anymore.
Yeah, but he will be by certain people because they'll just then go to... Once you start winning trophies... So this is what happens when it comes to trophies and Gerrard and Scholes comes up. Ability, player awards, ability. No, it's trophies that matter. You know, it always has been. It always will be for me. Viewers have voted though. 73% have said underrated. This super chat here says, Saka, what about European legend Ozil, Terry? I'm joking. Listen, I said about Ozil yesterday. I said fantastic.
I thought he was going to be in this one. You know, I thought.
I thought he was as well.
He's in tomorrow night show where we're comparing him against somebody and who's going to have the bigger legacy by the time they retire. Saka fairly rated, but overrated by Arsenal fans. He's not close to Foden. Let's see how good Saka's next season. One good season acting like prime Sanchez is what Lang and Sweet says here.
If you actually go and look at the stats, by the way, because I've done it, yeah. How similar these two guys are away from the trophies is absolutely insane. If you look at their goals and assists per game, it is like within a decimal of each other. They're so similar.
And one of them played for a top team.
Exactly,
and one of them played for a shitty Arsenal team. Yes, I know your argument, Dabs, that you're going to tell me.
That swings in both ways, though. That swings in both ways. In the same way that Foden was in a better team.
Is it harder to shine in a better team? But easy it is.
That's not the point. It's established.
Let him speak.
Purely stats level. If you're looking at it from a purely stats level, which is why I think context is so needed, their stats are similar. But then it's the case of, well, Saka has been the main option on this Arsenal team because they have been bad. So the majority of attacks will end up going through him. Whereas with Foden, sometimes they can go 30 minutes without even needing to use him. Because Riyad Mahrez is probably going to...
But if you look at context in it, because I remember, I think it was either Daps or Big Steve saying is it 4 Premier Leagues Foden's won? And in the best part of 3 seasons, he was one of their main players in that he was used efficiently and a lot. So I think that's a bit of nonsense, to be fair. When you see Arsenal team, when the guy's coming in at 17 years old, playing left back out of position, and he's still assisting and still being the bright spot, it's totally different, mate. Totally different. Yeah. Totally different.
The thing is, right, at the moment, sorry, what you could say is that Foden has won 4 Premier Leagues, 4. You can talk trophies, right? And then you can pull out moments where he's helped to achieve those trophies. This season, if Arsenal win the league, then I would look. There's a good chance that Saka might get Arsenal Player of the Season in the season they win the league. All of a sudden, then the whole conversation of Foden. So they're so similar. It's going to be mad by the end of both their careers.
I hear that there. Just cut the super chats here. Premsy, don't let these men fool you. Arsenal fans have lost their balls. We will win this league. We ain't Leicester. We are the Arsenal. It's 5:24 a.m. in Australia right now. Big up Premsy. VVD overrated. Thank you, Nathan. We don't have time to answer this, but I want to say thank you, San. Who's your top 3 greatest sides of all time? Just because we are running out of time, but we do get enough time, but we'll come back to it. Off topic, but where do you guys put Thomas Muller? 2 trebles, a World Cup. I think it means multiple Bundesligas, but never gets mentioned as one of the best.
I think he's quality, Muller.
In his pomp, he was top.
I don't think people understand this game well enough to rate him.
There's a reason why every coach that coached Bayern Munich from 2009 picked this guy.
Equally, people pretend to watch the Bundesliga week in, week out. They just don't. That's why they don't rate him. That's what happens. Interest of time, we've got 2 more to do. We've got to try and get through these quickly. Very sorry, boys. Next one, KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, overrated or underrated by the footballing world?
Again, another one where I go fairly rated. I think he's in the right conversation that he's in. He's one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time. and he gets talked about in that
Yeah.
conversation as one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time.
People
I'd say
give him the
fairly.
respect he deserves, 100%. I don't think
think
anyone
overrated.
underrates him.
Personally,
I think
Overrated.
some who underrate him. Some, I mean,
yeah, I think slightly overrated personally.
no, something underrated. Like Roy. Roy's getting ready because he knows who's coming next.
Roy,
right?
Roy, when you say slightly overrated, what do you mean?
Like he's a fantastic footballer, but how do I put it? As in, like, yes, he's one of the best Premier League midfielders we've ever seen, but I've also seen a lot of City fans and even some other fans as well put him up there with the likes of your Xavis, your Iniestas, your Modric's, and let me not lie, like KDB, Modric, valid, but I'm not gonna lie, it's Modric quite easily for me, and I just think, yeah, people have gone too far because he's playing in one of the most dominant Premier League sides ever, built in a system that plays to his assets and his skills perfectly.
But he's also playing in the best league in the world as well, yeah. Where a lot of these other leagues, they only have either one or two teams that can beat you. Do you know what I mean? And
I
he's
understand,
been
like,
shining.
he's done so much. It's slightly overrated.
Can I throw in a genuine challenge though? Everyone always mentions Xavi and Iniesta, and I think they're amazing. But they played in the system of all systems of all systems of all systems.
You're right, Terry. I agree with this. Look at
No,
Modric with Real Madrid. There is a difference. I'm sorry, Daps. Let me just say something. This is gonna work against every Man City player in this era. 10 years from now, we're gonna all say the same. We're gonna say, but you played in the most dominant team in the Premier League in the last 20 years. But he can only do what he can do in front of him. He can only assist in this team. And I think he has been doing it fantastically.
They do that to the Man United legends. Yeah, but you played in the best team, so it don't count.
Yeah.
It's the best team because it had the best fucking players.
Sorry, Terry, can I just ask Roy a question?
That's what
Roy,
happened.
when you said he's playing in a team that plays exactly to what he needs, explain that, please. Please explain to me.
Is it not self-explanatory? As in,
no, it's not, because last season we played completely different to how we played this season. So
I swear he played false nine last season when he'd done the rest of his career as a centre
yeah,
back.
I'm not saying from minute 1, 2 minute, whatever it is now.
You know what, Roy?
It's been perfectly tailored to him. Like, obviously,
what now? Right now.
Roy, hold on.
Let me. I want to say something, Tom. You know what, Roy?
Let me just ask Roy this, as a Chelsea fan. Did Chelsea not play a system that was tailored to Frank Lampard and his strengths?
Yes, we did. But I think it wasn't always tailored to him.
So then is Frank Lampard slightly overrated?
But you just Roy, you just said again it wasn't always tailored to him. So I need to understand is which Mo. I want to get an answer.
For most of Lampard's career, the system wasn't tailored around him, though.
To answer this about Lampard,
guys, one at a time, please, because no one can hear. So
let me get an answer out of him, please. So, Roy, which system is tailored around Kevin De Bruyne? The system this season or the system the previous 2 seasons?
No, as in when he was filling in at false 9, I don't know if that was 2021, maybe, I think. And like
last 2 seasons, yeah,
he wasn't really playing. Obviously, the system wasn't tailored around it. But I'm speaking from minute 1 of his City, mainly.
So he interchanges with how we're playing, is what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying for most of his City career, like, he's been in that right centre mid role where the system's been built around him to do what he does. And yes, he's fantastic. Like, the only thing I'm not calling KDB shit. KDB is a elite world-class midfielder, one of the best players in the world, in the league, all that stuff. But I just think that there's just something. I just think
that isn't Eden Hazard to you,
huh?
It's a crazy one for me. As I say, I'm not slagging off, by the way.
Like, he's elite. I just think he's slightly overrated. That's just my opinion.
Say to the viewers, I'm not having a go here at Xavi and Iniesta, arguably the 2 greatest midfielders of all time, maybe the greatest ever partnership as well. But to say that KDB can't be rated because he's part of a system takes away from players like that. And
Terry,
again,
let me shut that down.
And I want to say this. I want to say this about systems as well. I understand that there is a little less freedom now for players than there maybe used to be. And I saw Tim Sherwood talk about this today. How, like, the modern day phrases, like, football isn't different now to what it used to be. The phrases are just different. I think he goes a little bit too far. There's a bit of bitterness because he ain't a manager, but there is an element of, like, low blocks is just sitting back. There isn't a huge. There'll be adaptations, but they're not. Football hasn't fundamentally changed in the last 10 years to an unrecognizable sport and everything else. And I think that systems have always been a part of football. Man United play 4-4-2. And, you know, it's like saying Beckham was only good because the system was created that enabled him to cross from the right-hand side so brilliantly. That's what a winger was. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, look, I want to
Here's
move
a-
on. I want to move. I want to move
Go
on
ahead.
to the last one. Sorry, guys, just out of interest of time here. Underrated. 55% have said underrated for Kevin De Bruyne. The next.